In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create sketch blocks in Inventor and then constrain them, show how the motion works with it to see if there's any issues or anything like that, and then create a part out of one of the sketch blocks as well. So first things is, let's go to our sketch where our sketches reside, and what you'll see is that you'll see these four have already been created as sketch blocks. You can see the upper brace, middle bracket, lower arm, cylinder housing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create blocks for the remaining two sketches. First thing I need to do is go into create block, or if I right click on the ribbon at the top over here, click on show panels and make sure I've got my layout panel present or ticked. You'll see there now I've got a make part, make components, and a create block feature. So I'm going to go select create block and then select my geometry that needs to be in the block. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a name. So this one is going to be the top arm. Okay. And then select my insertion point. And in the insertion point is, if I'm going to bring a copy or another instance of this into my drawing, that insertion point is where my cursor will be when I bring it in. I can also put a description. This is the top arm for the assembly, just something that's descriptive so that if a colleague of mine comes in and takes a look at this, he knows exactly what has been created and why I created it. Okay, so let's just go and quickly finish off this design. What you'll notice there as well is that the dimensions disappear as soon as I create a block out of it. Okay, insertion point, and okay. So what you'll notice over here is a couple of things. First of all, these 5 blocks are purple, and when I grab one and I move it, you'll see I'm able to move around, so it's not fully constrained. This one has turned white, and this tells me that it is fully constrained. I will not be able to move this. So this is going to kind of be my grounded or my first point in an assembly if I had to create this in assembly where I drive everything off around it. Now, if I take a look at, for instance, the cylinder piston, you'll see there that I have maybe I want to change the name. So maybe I want to be cylinder piston 1. So a lot of I've had questions where say, can you just double click on it and then change it? It does change the name, but that's just the browser name over there. It doesn't actually change the name of the cylinder. So what we need to do is you double click on the block that you're going to change, and then what you'll see there, or rename, and then what you'll see there is that all the dimensions also pop up. So I can then go and double click on a dimension and then change the dimension, which essentially then changes my sketch block. Okay. So once that's done, I can right click, and then you will see that, okay, just escape, right click, and you'll see their block properties. So if you do not see their block properties, one thing is to do is just make sure nothing is selected. If I select that, right click, you'll see there my block properties is not available. So what I just need to do is just press escape, make sure nothing's selected, right click, then in its empty space, and you'll see their block properties. And there you'll see there's my cylinder piston 1. I can then go and change it, and it'll also change the name in my blocks. You'll notice that the name has also changed in my blocks folder over there. Okay, once that's done, okay, finish edit block, and I can start constraining this. Now, when you do constrain this, make sure to constrain it as you would in an assembly, because what you are able to do with this is you're able to extract or convert the constraints of my sketch through to my assembly when you do get to that level. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is just, like as per normal, start my 2D constraints, and you'll see I've created a collinear constraint with them, so it moves in and out. Now this is going to be a sub-assembly component. So what I can do with this is I can nest these blocks into a separate into a different block. So I select the 2 and I go to create block, and then I'll say cylinder. Select my insertion point, and notice what happens over here under my sketch. I click on OK. You'll see there it's now got cylinder and a little plus button next to it. And if I click that little plus button, you'll see there I've got cylinder housing and my cylinder piston. Okay. From there, I can now start constraining it so that we can check out the movement of exactly how this is going to turn out. So let's go, and I'm going to do my coincident constraints from that point to that point, and then that point to that point. You'll see it also goes white. We'll change color to white so that it now is fully constrained over there. Then I'm going to go and select that point and that point, so constrain that, and you'll see there if I drag that point, I'm able to move it down. Now, one thing you'll notice over here is that I cannot push the piston in or out. Okay. So if you've ever worked in assemblies, if you create a sub-assembly out of components, you'll notice that we aren't able to move the parts in that sub-assembly. And what we need to do is we need to make it flexible. So I can do the exact same thing in my 2D sketch, and I can make this flexible. So if I select my sub-assembly, as it were, or nested block, right-click, and you'll see I've got flexible over there. So now if I grab this component, you'll see there, I'm now able to move it in and out and make that component flexible. Okay, so I'm going to drag this part down here, and then just go and constrain the rest of it. So from that point to that point, and then we have got these two over there, and now you can see there how I can start driving my parts over there with my flexible subassembly. Okay, and there you can see how easy it is to constrain and make this flexible as well. Once I've created this sketch, I can now start creating parts out of it. So let's take a look at how to create this component over here, the lower arm. So with that, I can go to my layout panel, select make part, and select OK. Once it does that, it brings up my make part component. So here, what we can do is we can go to the blocks, and we can see which block we want to export, and that is the lower arm. So I'll select that. Now, you have got some options down over here. You can show all objects, obviously there. Break link with base components, so will not be linked to this 2D sketch. Suppress the link with the base component. So it won't be linked, but you can obviously relink it by unsuppressing it. Link face color from source component. If I had given this another color, going to the properties, it would then take that through to the object part that we're going to do. And then link sketch formatting from source component. Sorry, that is the sketch formatting. Is if I'd maybe done the lines is green and dotted. Okay. So once that's done, I can say, look, the part name is going to be lower arm. The template I want to use, okay, is my standard.ipt, and then where I'm going to save it, what my default BOM structure is going to be, normal, inseparable, purchase, phantom, or reference. I want it to be normal because I'm going to design and manufacture this. And then the target assembly name that you want to put it in. I'm just going to say GA. And it'll be saved in that over there. Okay, so once this is done, click on OK. And it will go and put this into assembly and create that lower arm over there as well. Once I'm done with that, then I can go and double click on my lower arm, and then using our normal extrude function, I'm able to go and create my components over there. Okay. And that is how we are able to then take out, create sketch blocks inside Inventor, and then from there we're able then to export out each component as if it were a normal part, and then maybe go and assemble it a little bit later. You are able to then make components as well, where we'll take the entire assembly out and export it into an assembly, and then create and modify it there, which I will show you in my next video. Thank you very much for watching.